Hello lovelies! So this video, as is aptly named, is 5 things that I wish I knew when I first started out on my journey in the craft, doing magic, however you want to phrase it. I do have these notes on my phone because, as I'm sure you know, you step on a camera and then suddenly, poof, all the information just disappears from your brain. Anyway, point number 1, the first thing that I wish I knew. When we enter into magic, we hear these really common ideas. One of them is the 4 elements: earth, air, fire, water. But nobody can really tell you where these concepts come from. So the person who coined the 4 elemental system that we use was a Greek philosopher named Empedocles, and the person who first coined the idea of the 4 elemental spirits, the gnomes, salamanders, sylphs and undines, was Paracelsus. So now you know where those concepts came from. In magical crafting, you often see people share this sentiment like, well, everything was just originally one person's personal gnosis, and now you know where that came from, and now everybody just believes it. The second point that I want to share is also another one of those things that's just been accepted as gospel, and that is the long version of the Wiccan Rede. Now, this was originally published in Green Egg magazine in 1974 by a lady named Gwyn Thompson, and this was 10 years after Doreen Valiente had first put forward the rhyming couplet, "And ham none do as ye will." She put out what she claimed to have received from her grandmother as the full version, or what was missing from Doreen's original poem, rhyme thing. Point number 3, the third thing I want to share with you guys. I learned this year that the tarot each have an esoteric title. So, for example, you have the 4 of Swords, which is the Lord of Rest from Strife. And these esoteric titles, I don't know about you, but that flicks a switch in me. Hearing that Lord of Rest from Strife is just really brings some sort of power to the card, I feel. And so part of what I'm doing this year is working through those titles as part of my journey, ongoing journey always, with tarot and its mysteries. So that's a really interesting thing. If you don't know about it, you should definitely Google it. It all is in Book T, which is one of the earliest publications I can find regarding esoteric tarot, and this was of course put forward by people in the Golden Dawn. I don't believe it was Mathers. Who was it that wrote it? I don't know. But you can find it as a PDF because it's in the public domain now, so you can find it online and have a read of that, which is really cool. Number 4 is that your working tools, your athame, your wand, your pentacle and your chalice, do not have to be what they're called. When I first entered into the craft, I joined a local eclectic coven, and my first mentor had the 4 elemental tools, the wand, the cup, etc., and I saw them, and so in my own craft attempted to replicate what I saw from my teacher. However, it was only, when I was learning to chaos magic and things like that, geekomancy from Rune Emerson and things like that, that it really started to click for me, that I really started to understand, why things like the Golden Dawn texts and Thelema say, by the magician's ingenium they must construct this tool. And what they're really saying is that it can literally be anything as long as it does the job. So the idea of using a fan as a wand, or using a mirror in place of a cup, these ideas of just using unique tools is fascinating, and I wish that somebody had told me that when I first entered into the craft, because I feel like my toolkit would probably look very different if that had been a concept that I felt was open to me. So I wanted to put that out there as well. I think that's a really cool thing, is that you can use anything for your magical tools, and we need to really communicate that more, I think. Number 5. This one is a bit of a share for you guys, And that would be, I wish that somebody had told me that you cannot learn a magic system and master it in a month. When I first started working in this coven, we were encouraged to look at other mystery traditions and work with them and, you know, develop in them as well, and to not just sort of look to the coven for all our answers. And that's fantastic, that was great. However, there was this trend in my coven that we would work with something for a month and only commit to it for a month, and then we'd be able to move on. And I found myself falling into this trap of like, well, I've worked with that, you know, system for a month now, so I know all about it and don't have to ever touch it again. And that's certainly not the case. You cannot delve into a system's mysteries in depth enough from just a month of work. It's like, that concept to me now is just hilarious and so naive, and I can't, like I say, I can't wait to look back on this in 10 years and really like tear myself apart and be like, you don't know anything, because that's what I feel like when I read back through my old journals now, you know, from 10 years ago, and, you know, can see the innocence and the naivety. It's quite fun. But yeah, those are 5 things that I wish that someone had told me when I had first started this stuff. And hopefully, if you're just starting out, this will give you some fun things to chew on, or fun things to Google. Remember that Wikipedia is your friend. Most of this information is only a click away. We are so blessed, you know, to have the online resources that we do, between YouTube and like esoteric archives and everything that's available on the internet, you know, Doc Souls and all that stuff. It's just fantastic. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I think I've said enough now. But anyway, I hope you're well. I hope this video was informative, or at the very least entertaining. And of course, you can subscribe and hit the bell button to get notifications and all the other things that YouTubers are obliged to say, because this system is fucking annoying. But yeah, keep track with me, keep in contact, and leave some comments below. Yeah, leave some comments below. Let me know what you wish someone had told you when you first started on your craft, because yeah, I'd love to know. And like, because these are, like I say, some of these things are I have learned in the last 12 months, and so I'm sure that whatever you guys have to share will enlighten me as well. So yeah, I've said enough. All the best. Bye.